Hey guys, it's Sassy Sky. Welcome back. Happy Friday. Today is going to be my January product roundup review video. That was a mouthful. But basically this video is just going to be everything I tried this month and my thoughts on the products. If I think they're worth it, maybe if I need to keep testing them, because I have been testing a lot of makeup this month. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I'm going to be testing probably a lot of these products into about half of next month so I can get my full solid thoughts. I just kind of wanted to show you all the products I used this month and my initial thoughts. The first product I want to talk about is the Lunar Beauty Eternal Eclipse eyeshadow palette, color palette if you want to be specific. This is Lunar Beauty's newest release and it is so stunning. I love the color story. I love the neutrals and the cool tones and the blues. I've used every shade in here but most of the blues just because I haven't really been drawn to them, and I kind of started testing this towards the end of the month, so I didn't get a lot of time to play with it. But from every single shade that I have tried, it's Lunar Beauty's exact formula. It's beautiful. I love it. The only difference I have noticed is that this flaky shade, the silver one called Adamantium, it actually has base pigment, which is kind of nice because I was swatching it. If you saw my 21 questions video, I was swatching it against the other two flaky shimmers and his other two palettes, and those had no base and this one had lots of base pigment. So I really like this palette. I think it's beautiful. If you like cool tones, if you like neutrals, if you have not tried his formula, it is smooth, pigmented, buttery. The shimmers go on with your finger. I've only really ever used it with my finger. They go on like a dream. There's minimal fallout with the shimmers, which to me that doesn't bug me because I do my eyes first. With the more glittery shimmers, you're gonna want to make sure you take some tape and pick up the glitter that falls down because otherwise it's kind of hard to remove. And then this flaky shade actually had pretty much no fallout, which I've noticed with the flaky shades they do have some semblance of fallout because they do have it seems like glitter particles, but I'm not entirely sure what the flake aspect of it is. I love this palette. So I did try two palettes from XX Revolution. This first one was a Jessica Braun recommendation in the style Exposed. This palette is really nice for just an everyday wearable palette. I wore this in two videos, in my last two videos, so Wednesday and Thursday's videos, which were Buyer Buy number 3 as well as my January favorites and fails for the month. So I really like this palette. It's just a nice sheer wash of color. It's really simple, buttery, smooth. This formula of shimmer is actually quite similar to the Lunar Beauty Flaky Shadows. I freaking love this palette. I think it is gorgeous. I love that this other shimmer right here isn't super shimmery, so you can get away with wearing it in your crease. This is just overall a really nice rounded out everyday little mini palette, little quad. I love this. The other palette I tried, but this one's in Extinguish. It's a more gray, cool toned type of palette. I would say if you have a cool tone palette but maybe you don't have the deeper cool tone palettes, pick this up if you want that kind of depth. It's so nice. I have only tried two shades. I will admit I've only tried these two shades right here. I have not tried these lighter shades, but from what I've tried comparing this to the other one, they're so nice. The mattes are really nice. That super shimmer, beautiful. I want to continue using this. This is actually really beautiful. Again, I've only tried two shades of it, so I don't have my full thoughts on the whole thing. So this will probably more than likely go into a speed review next month. But I really from what I've tried, I really like this palette, the formulation, the shadows, the wear time, how buttery and smooth they are, and just overall how nice this little quad is. You guys already know. So this is the ColourPop Mandalorian collaboration palette. This was my favorites and fails for this month. I am so surprised that I love this palette. I love, love, love the greens. They're so wonderful. The shimmers in here are smooth. I don't get too much fallout. Even the mattes with shimmer particles, glitter particles, I don't find too hard to blend through my crease, and I don't have any issues. So I know that irritates a lot of people when they put glitter in a matte, but I don't know, with this palette it just kind of works. This palette surprised me, and if you saw my favorites and fails, you'll know that I'm kind of like amazed and in awe at this palette. I think it's just a wonderful color story, and I also feel like the pictures online do not give it justice, because this brown, it looks a lot more burgundy red, but it's honestly just kind of like a true cocoa butter brown. It's nice and neutral. I really like it. I don't use too much of it when I do use it, just because I find that it's not necessary. I don't really like to deepen my looks that much. Real quick, let's talk about my eye look. So I did get a few compliments on my 21 questions makeup tag video, and I'm going to show you what I did. I used 3 different palettes. I know it's high maintenance, but I was trying to use all these palettes and kind of like gather my thoughts as best as I could in the little bit of time that I did have to use them. So I took this lightest neutral, the shade just like a Tatooine. I took this and I blended it all through my crease with just a fluffy brush, and then I took a little bit of Droid Protocol, which is the rich brown, and I just like lightly did the outer V with the same fluffy brush. This is the brush I use. It's a BH number 6. It's their rose gold collection. Just for reference, it's just like this nice fluffy crease brush. And then I took my Lunar Beauty palette, the Eternal Eclipse, and I went into the shade Sandstorm, and I blended that all through my crease on top of those shades. And then I took a little bit of Earthbender, and I used this shade because it's not as rich as the Droid Protocol shade, and I just really deepened the outer edge. And then I went over first, for my first shimmer, I took Desert Sky, and I just patted it on, and then I took that same blending brush and I just blended out the harsh edges. And then I went into the Exposed palette from XX Revolution, and I took the gold shimmer and I just patted it all over. And that's it. That's all I did. And then I also took the bronzer, which I'll talk about in a minute, and I just used that on my lower lash line. And then I popped highlighter on the inner corner, and that was the entire look. It's really bronzy, simple, kind of smoky. You don't have to use these palettes if you have similar neutrals and like a goldy bronze shimmer. You can achieve this look super easily. I just wanted to let you know how I did it so you can recreate it if you wanted to. So I have a few more eyeshadow palettes that I tried. Again, I tried a lot of fucking product this month. So first are these 2 e.l.f. bite-sized. So I have Berry Bad and Rose Water. I tested both of these out. Berry Bad I unfortunately dug my nail into when I was opening it, so be careful when you open these. But these are so nice. I didn't think I was going to like them as much as I do. They work really well in conjunction together. Like, this is a nice color story, I find. That's the kind of the problem I find with these bite-sized quads, is that you almost don't have enough color in one quad. You almost have to use one next to it, which is kind of disappointing. I wish they were just like a little bit more cohesive, but I have more than just one, luckily. So for a $3 eyeshadow palette, each of these are really nice. The shimmers are buttery and smooth. You're not going to have like flaky, chunky issues with them. The mattes are also buttery and smooth. They're not patchy. They're smooth. I know I keep using the word smooth, but they are smooth. They're blendable. They're easy. They're not too richly pigmented, so I don't feel like you can get carried away easily. But then again, I always just build my product up because I'd rather have too little than too much. I feel like Berry Bad would be absolutely stunning in the fall time with the weather changing and you get more berry tone clothing. I just feel like this would work really well in the fall time. Rose Water is just a nice everyday palette. I like how Jessica Braun uses this palette. I have tried it that way, where she starts with the matte and then she takes the lighter shimmer and kind of runs it in the crease as well, and then she'll tap in the darker shimmer and then sometimes use this shade to deepen it up. I like these. They're really nice, just simple, easy, everyday grab palettes, especially if you're a person on the go. You can just put it on out the door and see you later. They're just no muss, no fuss. I will say though, be careful opening them, because when I opened mine, I like ran my nail straight through that nice creamy shimmer. So be a little bit careful, but Honestly, I feel like everybody talks about these, and for good reason. They are wonderful. I do find that the rose water one is one of those shimmers that you kind of have to build just a little bit. They're not like pow, one swipe done. Sometimes you have to build it a little bit more. But again, for $3, these are really, really nice quality, and if there's a color story that speaks to you, definitely pick one up. This, I kind of should have put this as a fail, but I didn't want to put it as a fail this month just because I still feel like I haven't really tested this to the fullest. It's the Natasha Denona Coral Palette. I got this at Beautylish like half off. They were just doing a half off sale for a bunch of makeup, and I picked this up because I've been eyeing it for a while. I love the color story. I love the berries, the pinks, the purple, the duochrome especially in the middle there. Unfortunately, this kind of fell flat for me. I don't know if I'm just having issues with applying shimmers. I don't know if I need to start using a glitter glue before I go in with shimmers right now because I'm having issues. I don't know if it's me or if it's this palette, but the shimmers are so lackluster, and that's what I bought this palette for. The mattes are nice, they're buildable, they're smooth, they're not patchy at all. If I would have bought this at full price, this definitely would have gone in my fails for this month. I'm gonna keep using this because I love the color story. I'm gonna keep testing out the shimmers, but as of right now, from what I've tried, the shimmers just kind of suck. I will keep playing with it, and this will definitely be one of the products that I put in a speed review and I update you on because I don't have a solid opinion on it, but I do have enough of an opinion to feel comfortable saying like buyer beware because the shimmers just aren't really it. But I will keep testing it, and I will let you know next month what I think of this palette in more detail. Let's talk about bronzer real quick. I bought the Marc Jacobs Tantastic bronzer that literally everybody talks about. I'm wearing it today. I don't really think this is necessary 100%. Like, I bought it on sale, so I don't feel as bad. I think I paid like $20 for it maybe. I will say the pan size is huge. The formula is really nice. It's soft. It doesn't patch. I will say I think this shade is too dark for my skin tone. And it's really easy to go overboard when you are this light. I don't know how Manny wears this shade because it's just so dark. I mean, it looks light, but once you put it on your cheeks, like I did a really sheer wash of it today because I was going too ham with it over the last week or two. So yeah, be aware if you're fair. I don't think this is like the end all be all of bronzers. It's okay. Don't buy it full price, and maybe just don't buy it at all because I feel like there are better bronzers, better shades. I don't love the packaging of it because you have this like button you push, and for some reason I like can't. I have to tip it upside down to open it, and that kind of irritates me. I don't know if anybody else is like picky like that, but I just want to be able to open the product and use the product and not have to be like, oh shit, you have to tip this one upside down to be able to open it. I know it's stupid, I know it's nitpicking, but for an originally like, what is this, like a $40 bronzer or some shit like that, this is kind of ridiculous. It's just not life-changing. It's just not gonna change your routine. It's just not gonna make things like immaculate. There are better bronzers for way cheaper. Save your money. Do not buy this. It's just not worth it. It's just okay. Let's move over into foundations. So let's get this one out of the way. I'm wearing it today. It's the ColourPop Clean Fresh Skin Milk with coconut milk and aloe extract. I'm in the shade 520 Fair. Here's the thing. So I know this is like an older product and everybody has already pretty much put their opinion out on it. I didn't have the like white spot issues. I hadn't had any problems with this product at all. And then I tried it the other day and I kind of wish I would have taken a video of it because for some reason, like I hadn't even put any other product on. I was just using a sponge and this and trying to put it on, and it started breaking apart like all around my mouth and chin area up into my nose. It was the weirdest thing. I was using the Too Faced Hangover primer with it, and so I don't know if it was like this issue that broke it apart, or if it was maybe the sponge. I was using the e.l.f. sponge, which I don't use all the time, so I don't know if it was like a combination of those two things, but I am wearing it today, and so far, so good. I don't have any of those issues, especially when I was first applying it. I went ahead and used a different primer. I used Tatcha, the Liquid Silk Canvas, and I have had no issues with it. So I don't know if this is just like a finicky product or if I was just having like a weird day that day. I don't know, but I made it work enough to film, but oh man. I don't know how I feel about this. This is gonna have to go in a next month's review. I also have a feeling that this is breaking me out. I've been wearing it for the most part this week, and I've been pretty much taking it off like almost immediately. I haven't really been wearing it all day because there's really no point, honestly. And I didn't wear makeup at all yesterday, and my skin when I woke up this morning was like 10 times clearer than it had been all week. So I think I might be having a reaction to this. So I don't know if I want to keep testing it, but I'm gonna give it like a few more tries before I write it off as like a fail or whatever, which sucks because this looks so stinking nice on the skin. It's so dewy and fresh, and it's got some nice coverage. It's like the perfect shade match for my skin tone right now. So yeah, I'm gonna keep testing this, but those are like my first initial thoughts. This next foundation is the e.l.f. Camo CC cream. This is so bomb. I'm in the shade Fair 120N. I love this. This is so full coverage. The fact that they call it a CC cream is ridiculous. It is so nice though. I will say that it's full coverage without being heavy, so it's like my ideal type of full coverage. The shade match is really nice. I do not recommend using this with a dewy setting mist though, because it kind of can break apart because this is so full coverage and that's just so dewy that it just kind of like cancels each other out. So do be careful using this with like a dewy setting mist, especially if you're gonna go anywhere. I only use one pump of this, covers my whole face, covers up everything, it looks beautiful. But again, I want like less coverage. I don't want full coverage, so I will only use a pump so you can still kind of like see my skin peeking through. This is lovely. If you want a full coverage foundation without it being thick and heavy, check this out. I have not tested how long it wears. Overall, it's so nice. It's fresh, it's kind of glowy, it lasts a pretty decent amount of time on my oily skin. I have not really like prepped my skin to wear it for an extended amount of time because I'm not really going anywhere. It is really nice with the brush they launched with it, but my preference will always be a sponge. I just love applying foundation with a sponge. I will occasionally use a brush, kind of depends on how I'm feeling that day. The last foundation I tried this month is the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Hydrating Foundation. So this shade is Light 55N. I went off of a shade chart from their like tinted moisturizer, and that match is actually pretty good. This is too dark. It's the kind of dark that makes me look tan, but is really obvious. Like, I'm not wearing it today, but it's really obvious that it's too dark. I like this. The only problem I've noticed with this is that it does like make my nose area super itchy. I think I wore this in my winter empties video, and I like itched right here. And the entire time when I was editing, I was just staring and I was like, wow, it looks like I just snorted something because like that one area is gone. Again, I don't know if it's the primer I used. I will keep testing this with a different primer. I don't know if it's this formula. A lot of these products I still like kind of need to keep testing. I don't have like super solid thoughts on, so just like beware. I want to get this in my right shade because I like this formula a lot. It's super fresh, dewy, it is very hydrating. I find that my skin likes it. It doesn't like break it apart too much too quickly. I can get a couple hours of use with it. Again, I want to keep testing it with like different setting sprays, different primers, but from what I've tried so far, this is just amazing. I love it. The coverage is really nice. You can still like see your skin through it. It's nice and dewy, fresh, glowy. Other than it like making me itchy around my nose, this is like my ideal foundation, especially right now. I only tried one concealer, and it's the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer. It's the matching concealer. I got this one in light 40N, which I kind of wish I would have got the foundation in that same shade. This is a little bit darker of a concealer than what I look for. It's not super brightening, but it's also like not darker than my foundation. It just kind of, it's like a little bit lighter than my foundation, so it highlights a little bit, but not the amount that I usually go for. This is a nice concealer. I'm wearing it today. This concealer does crease on me, but I feel like it's just because I have those creases, so it's just settling into my crease lines. It's very, very hydrating, so if you have dry under eyes and you have like issues with matte concealers just looking too either cakey or dry, or like actually feeling cakey and dry, definitely try this out. It's pretty nice. Again, I want to keep testing it with like other products. I've kind of only been keeping it with the products I've been testing, so I don't really know too much about it, and I've only been using this for the last couple of days, so this is going to be a continue that I'm going to be testing. Highlighters. So I tried the e.l.f. Glow Gleam Beam highlighter palette in my full face of e.l.f. video. I'm still loving this. I will say that this top row is a lot more glowy than this bottom row, which is so weird because these are like the intense highlighters. I'm wearing it today. I'm wearing this lightest metallic. It's really not. And then also this shimmer. I've been wearing this one like crazy. This is like my favorite shade in the whole palette. Haven't really tried any of the other ones because I just think that it works the best for my skin tone. So I don't really need to try the other ones yet. But I will say this formula is really nice. It does emphasize texture just a little bit, but I feel like most highlighters do. It's super like boom in your face. Like when I turn my cheek, you can see it. Boom, boom, boom. I love it. I love it so much. I love a blinding highlight. I'm not really much for a subtle. This has been so nice. This pleasantly surprised me. I've been putting off buying this for a while. I don't know why. It's so worth it. Definitely look into it if you've been wanting this. This is me telling you to freaking buy it because it's so worth it. So worth it. And I love the rose gold packaging. I've talked about this before. I wish e.l.f. would do more of this like rose gold-esque line. It's just so like fancy and sleek and just nice and beautiful, and I love it. The Stila Heaven's Hue highlighter in the shade Kitten. This is too dark for me. I'm sad because I bought it full price. I wish the undertone of this was just a little bit lighter because I could get away with wearing it, but unfortunately it just casts that like weird shadow when you look at me, and I tried using it as an inner highlight, and as I was editing I was like, don't ever use that as an inner highlight ever again. So this is not gonna get too much use out of me. I don't know if this would work if I eventually tan or get a tan, but I'm a little bit disappointed in this shade, especially because I bought it full price. It's really beautiful. It's kind of like a rosy gold highlight, but as you can tell, like that's the undertone right there. So it looks like I could wear it, and then the undertone is like super dark. Even back here, it looks like something I would probably be able to wear, but look at that dark. That's what you see when you look at me head on. So unfortunately, this is like just a little bit too dark. I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna try to use it like more in the summertime. Maybe I'll spend some more time outside. I like the formula of what I've tried so far. I just wish the shade was a little bit better. I do have another shade that I'm gonna probably try next month, but yeah, I just wish this was like a little bit lighter. I just wish like the base of it wasn't so dark, but if you're like medium and darker, you might really like this. The other highlighter I tested out was from ColourPop. This is their Super Shock highlighter in the shade Coastin. This was like part of their succulent-esque launch, like their I think it's like called Garden something. I don't know. This highlight is interesting in the fact that it's like actually works for my skin tone. You can see the base isn't too dark. It's kind of blinding, but it's also like a little glittery. Like I find that when I put it on my skin, there are glitter particles. Not too terrible, like I don't mind it, but if you don't like glitter in your highlighters, definitely don't get this one. Also, I've been like reviewing a lot of ColourPop stuff, and I'm trying to take a backseat, so this might be like the most ColourPop stuff you see for a while. I don't like the packaging on this. I think it's just cheaply made. I wish this was just like in their normal Super Shock packaging. I probably will never buy another highlighter like this because unlike the Marc Jacobs, the clasp is different on this one. It's like this, and for some reason, like, I struggle to open it. I don't know, it's just like not well made. But it is really nice. It doesn't emphasize my texture too much, but I will say make sure you're aware of where you're applying it, because if not, you'll end up with like glitter down here. Because that happened to me the other day, because at first I was like, oh yeah, I really like this highlighter, and then I kept using it for a few days and I was like, I don't like the glitter that's like down here though. Right. Blush. So I tried this Kosas Duo. It's their 8th Muse Color and Light Cream. And I want to talk about this one first because it's a highlighter and a blush. The highlighter is actually really nice. So I either use my sponge or my favorite diffuser brush, the Sephora Pro Diffuser 64. This isn't cruelty free, just I've had this for a minute. The highlight is like really subtle and glowy. I have not really used these on their own. I tend to use it as like a base highlight, or like as a base highlight and blush, and then I'll go over it after I powder with like a different blush. I don't really use these on their own. Maybe I should try using them on their own. I'm just kind of like a little bit afraid because creams are still like a new territory for me. But these are honestly really good. I see why Jessica Braun talks about them all the time. They're just easy. They're not super pigmented. They ride a very fine line of almost being Vaseline. So do keep that in mind if you don't like super emollient products. This might not be your favorite. But for what I've used it for, I really like it. I think it's a really nice product. I don't know if I would repurchase it. I will keep using it. I do enjoy it in my collection now, but I think that if this was like gone or I used it up or whatever, I don't think I'd be in a rush to rebuy it. This is really pretty. If you're into natural beauty, you'll definitely really like this. So this is the XX Revolution powder blush in Entice. I'm wearing it today. It's a really nice color for me. I like it. I look like flushed but not overly blushy. I will say it's quite pigmented. I love that though in a blush. I just love the pigment. I take my Practic blush powder brush and I just dip into it like once, like swipe across it, and then do like both my cheeks, and then if I need more I'll go in again. That is how little product you need for this blush to be like blushy. Like that's what I did today, and you can totally see how much blush I'm wearing, which I'm starting to like. I didn't really ever like blush, but now I feel like it's slowly becoming one of my like favorite face aspects, like when I'm doing my base makeup. If you're looking for a really pretty blush and you're around my skin tone, check this one out in the shade Entice. It's so beautiful. It's a natural flush, doesn't emphasize anything. It's honestly just like the ideal blush for me. I like it. And it's like baby pink, and it also has that same like rigid packaging as the eyeshadows. This is the e.l.f. primer infused blush in the shade Always Punchy. I tried this in my full face of e.l.f. video. If I thought the XX Revolution blush was pigmented, it has nothing on this. This blush I probably will never be able to hit pan on because it is so pigmented. I've used this a bunch and you can like barely tell that I've even used it because you need like the slightest little dip and that's it. So these are the two next to each other. So I will say the XX Revolution is more of like a coral and this one's more of like a true pink. So if you're kind of wondering like what the two look like next to each other, that's what they look like. I like this. It's almost like a little bit darker of a blush than what I'm looking for, but I will say this is like beautiful. It lasts a really long time. It's super pigmented, which I like a pigmented blush, but this is almost like too pigmented. It's really easy to go ham on. You don't need a whole lot, which means I will probably never hit pan on this. It's just a nice formula. It's really creamy, not patchy at all. I probably like this one more than I like this one just because this one's a little less pigmented but still pretty pigmented, and the color is just a little bit more what I want in a blush than this one. If you're at Target and you see this and you're like, I need a new blush, look into e.l.f. because it's pretty good. It's just, there's pigment. This is the e.l.f. Halo Glow Setting Powder. I have mine in the shade Light. I've been using this every single time I've set my makeup. I need to stop using this in conjunction with the dewy setting spray because I think it's almost too much dew. I didn't use the dewy setting spray today. I just used the Gerard Cosmetics coconut setting spray. It leaves your skin pretty airbrushed and it just sets everything really nicely. I feel like I don't really go too ham with this. Like, I don't get that really weird powdery look when I use this because it has that nice glow. It's finely milled. It sets everything. I don't know necessarily if it locks everything into place because, again, I'm not going anywhere, so I don't really have any purpose to test it like that. It's probably more used for like finishing, but I set my whole face with it and I've had no problems. I just think you don't necessarily need a dewy setting spray with this because, like, I'm wearing a dewy foundation and a dewy powder, and then I use like a mattifying setting spray and my skin still is glowy and fresh. Okay, lip product. This is the ColourPop Lippy Pencil in Beeper. This I thought was like too dark, but I'm actually wearing it today. It's kind of faded just a little bit, but it's a nice like My Lips But Better, like just a shade darker type of lip liner. I love the ColourPop lip liners. This is just a newer shade to me. It's not too ridiculously dark. It's really nice. I like this shade. I think I technically tried this in December, but I actually have my thoughts on it. So it's the Lawless Bullet Lipstick in the shade 90s. I really like this. Like, look at the detail that it literally has Lawless stamped into it. This is such a nice warm shade. I also really love the packaging. It's magnetic. I love the packaging on this. It does wear away pretty nicely. It doesn't last like a super long time. It's not a liquid lipstick, it is a bullet lipstick, but the way it fades, it just fades away like so effortlessly and so smooth, which is what I really like about it. The scent is pretty like standard. It doesn't smell like anything. It's just a really nice lipstick formula. Like, I don't know what else I can say. It's pigmented, it's smooth, doesn't really exaggerate your lines too badly. The color is like a rich brown. I'm really impressed with this. I really like it. I mean, it is a higher end lipstick. I've been kind of dabbling into higher end bullet lipsticks, but this is actually pretty nice. I like this. If you're looking for a hydrating, smooth formula that wears away really nicely, definitely look into Lawless. I've been pretty surprised by Lawless's brand so far and the things that I've tried, and I would love to try out more from this brand. I tried 2 glosses. You guys already know my thoughts on Marc Jacobs Sugar Sugar. This is so juicy and nice and plump and hydrating and shiny. I love this stuff. Definitely buy this. That's my thoughts on this. Like, if you want more details, go watch my faves and fails video because I could not shut up about this lip gloss. So this is the Patrick Ta lip gloss in Lip Shine, and she's an influencer. So I was wearing this at the beginning of the video, and as it's gone on, I just reapplied it. It's faded, which kind of sucks because this one lasts such a long time. This one you have to reapply more frequently. I find that when I wear this, the lip liner and the lip gloss kind of fade away together, so it's not like the lip gloss fades then you have like a weird lip line, so that's really nice. You do have to reapply it rather frequently, but I will say the flavor is nice, the smell is nice. Nobody ever talks about the flavor of like lip products, but like, you are tasting it. No matter what you do, you are tasting it. The flavor is nice. The glitter particles are almost like too big because I can kind of feel them a little bit, but I will say overall this is a really nice gloss. I see why everybody was talking about it when this first launched. It's actually like a really nice product. I want to see what else Patrick Ta comes out with. There's not really been anything else that I've been like, oh, I need that. I don't know if I'd say it's necessarily worth the full price tag, but it's a good gloss. Eyebrow products. So these are both from e.l.f. It's their Wow Brow in the shade Taupe and their Ultra Precise Brow Pencil in the shade Blonde. I really like these. I'm wearing it today. The brow pencil is kind of like a standard brow pencil. It wears away really nicely, lasts a decent amount of time. It's skinny. The color is really nice. I like the brow pencil. I mean, I just feel like a brow pencil is a brow pencil unless I don't like it. It's not too emollient. It's kind of what I look for in a brow pencil. It's stiff without being too stiff. I haven't had it snap on me when I'm trying to draw on my brows. And it's just a nice skinny brow product. I really like it. The Wow Brow. I have not gotten too much use out of this because I've been trying to use up other brow product. It has all these little fibers in it to mimic hair, and it actually does. It's on my brows today, but I find that this shade's almost like too light, so I'll put it on, wait like a few seconds, and then I'll take a spoolie and just brush through and kind of remove any excess, make it like look a little bit better. It makes my brows look super full, and I do have full brows. I just have like scars right here from my childhood and like falling off horses and just dirt and stuff, you know, like hitting your head on rocks. This sounds so fucking morbid, I'm sorry, but I like to try to cover those, but you can only do so much. There isn't much hair on those scars, but this is actually like surprisingly really nice. I'm gonna keep using it. If you have thin brows and you want it to look like you have brow hair, get this, but try to get it either like a shade lighter or almost the exact shade of your brows. This is like a shade lighter than my brows, so it works pretty well. But I kind of have to be careful because if not, it kind of looks gray. So that's kind of why I've been spooling it out of my brows. Okay, I don't shut the fuck up about this product lately. e.l.f. Keep Your Curl Mascara. I talked about this in my favorites and fails. I literally raved about it in the e.l.f. video. It's on my eyelashes today. It's been what I've been wearing nonstop for the last 3 weeks, 2 weeks. I love it. I haven't had like noticeable issues removing it. I will say though that if I take it off in the shower, like if I take a full face of makeup off in the shower, I do have to go with my cellar water when I come out on a cotton pad and just remove the excess. That's the only other thing, that's the only time I've noticed that it's been like an issue, or it's like left, you know, when you remove when you remove certain mascaras and you get the raccoon eyes. I get that with this, but it's not a problem. Like, I don't find it to be an issue. If you try this mascara and you have issues removing it, I'm gonna walk you through how I remove it because I haven't had any issues. So I take a face halo, I put it under warm water, wring it out, and then I put my Pharmacy cleansing balm on it. I then press it on my eye for like 5-10 seconds, and then I start to kind of like wipe away at my eye makeup, and then I do the same on the other side. And then I do my whole face, still with the cleansing balm side, and then I'll go back in on my eyes and kind of, you know, like remove whatever is left, and then I'll flip the face halo on the other side, kind of hold it, remove whatever is still left if there's anything, then go and wash my face, and then at this point, if there is still mascara, which isn't, there really isn't, I will then take a cotton pad with some micellar water on it and just wipe away any excess. And that's how I've been removing it, and I've had no problems. I haven't lost eyelashes, they haven't been falling out. It comes off rather easily. I don't know, I haven't had any issues removing it. And okay, the last product, again, another fave. This is the e.l.f. Dewy Setting Mist. I did mention in my favorites and fails that I find that it doesn't break apart my makeup, but I think under extended periods of time it will break apart your makeup, or it won't help to avoid your makeup being broken apart. But this is such a nice dewy setting mist. I love it. I wish the nozzle was different. I'm almost curious if anybody's picked this up after like this packaging, if they've tried it in the new packaging. I'm curious to know if that sprayer is better, because this one kind of sucks. I'm probably gonna end up putting this in a different setting spray bottle, but I haven't had any like crazy issues with the sprayer either. I just make sure I like cover my eyes, do my forehead, do the rest of my face, sides of my face, and then immediately take my sponge and just kind of blot up any of those extra like splotches. Okay, that was a shit ton of product. This video is probably like an hour long, sorry. Again, I don't have like super solid thoughts on everything, just because it's like as I was using it, my thoughts changed. Maybe like the way that I was applying it, things changed. But the things I mentioned that I'm gonna put in like a roundup video for next month, I'll keep you updated on. Not everything I have like super solid opinions on. Some things, as you guys saw, I have like mixed feelings about, but I'm gonna continue testing and I will definitely keep you updated. Those were all the products I tried this month. It was a lot, and most of it I tried in the last like 2 weeks, even like starting this week. So yeah, it was a lot. If I missed some things, I might let you know. I don't think I missed anything, but next month I'm definitely gonna keep this a little bit more organized. Have you guys been enjoying this week's videos? I put out a video every day this week. I don't plan on posting a video every single day of the week because it is draining, and also I've just been so motivated this week. I have days where I'm super motivated and days where I'm not, and I just know that next week I'm probably gonna have very slim days where I'm super motivated, so I've just been trying to take advantage of this week. And also, at the end of the month, I just have a lot of like roundup videos and ideas and stuff, so I want to get them all out in that week. So I think at the end of the month, every month, I might do 5 videos a week. We'll see. I'm not gonna like hold myself to it necessarily. We'll kind of see how it goes next month, because next month is a little bit shorter. So that's going to do it for this month's product review roundup. Again, these are kind of like my initial thoughts. They're not necessarily a full in-depth review. Some things I'm going to be doing in like a speed review type because I don't have a full opinion on. I tried a lot of product, you guys saw. It's kind of hard to get opinions on everything when you try so much product. I'm going to try to narrow it back next month. We'll see. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 a.m. Mountain Time. I will go ahead and leave everything listed down below as per usual. I'll go ahead and see you in my next video. Bye!